1, 2. M0FXB, welcome back to my live broadcast. Trying to get me in this image here. We've had a lot of news about, or coming from Yaesu. They haven't told us they're releasing the Yaesu FTX-1F at Hamvention, but they've given us some clues. We've also discovered some new hardware that's been published on the FCC. I've also been told that the FTX-1F has been approved now. Please confirm if it has. So a big question with the Yaesu FTX-1F is, why QRP? We've been asking for a Shack-in-the-Box radio for years, and they haven't released a Yaesu 857, 897 type radio. So eventually they stopped selling the Yaesu 818, and we're like, okay, what now? And eventually we do get, as you can see just here, if I just close some of these images, eventually we get the Yaesu FTX-1F dual receive, HF, VHF, UHF, possibly 4 meters, other functions that might be hidden in there. The rear of the device is modular, so you can add an antenna tuner. And people have mentioned, can we add a 100-watt amplifier? Now, we never thought they would come up with this, which we're seeing on the FCC, which is a 100-watt amplifier for HF, more 50 watts for, and I don't quote me on this, for VHF, UHF. Look at the specs that they publish. I am just speculating here, and my video is purely and 100% entertainment purposes only. I try and learn what I can. So I'm just trying to see here if I look on my YouTube to see if this live has come up. Because I just thought I'd do it because John Crook has advertised a live podcast in about 30 hours. And of course, you can, let me just turn the volume down here. Yeah, I can see that I am coming through, so I'm just going to go high. Now, I know it's the middle of the night in the USA, so I'm not really expecting many people to talk now. But from the UK point of view, this is a live, a live broadcast, me in the shack. As usual, my shack full of gadgets as usual. I just lean to one side. No, it's not going to do it, of course. Not that I want it, but hey, full of gadgets. So I do have the Yaesu FT101. I initially had the 710, which I was completely happy with. Someone offered me the 101, FTDX101, part exchange for a couple of other radios that I had. And me, I've always surrounded by radios. So I thought, well, why not? I mean, and it is a beautiful set, but I actually preferred the 710 because it was smaller and compact. And the fact that you can buy them now in the UK for about £850 is an absolute bargain. Yeah, give me some comments. I know there's no one there at the moment, but give me some comments and let's see if we can get some feedback on what's happening at Hamvention. So in the podcast that John Crook has been advertising, it actually uses the word Optima. And they're going to discuss the Optima and the field version. So let me just find where that's in the podcast. Okay, just print it out. This is how it's spelled, Optima. And what they're saying is they're going to discuss the options for the FTX-1F for field and for Optima. To me, the Optima is in my opinion, is the addition of the 100-watt amplifier that you can put the FTX-1F inside, I believe. Okay, you can see the sort of, is it feet at the bottom there? So we really need to wait for the podcast. Hi, GT Retro World, Supermare. And I just thought I'd quickly do this live because there's so much information coming out now about Hamvention 25. I thought I'd do a live. Why not? I'm sat here. Going to go out soon. It's a sunny day here in the UK. And this is the sort of advertising we're getting from Yaesu. And Yaesu have actually done, added some videos with this background and more information, saying come to Hamvention, experience something new. And they're talking about QRP, they're talking about high power, 100 watts. And John Crook did say the other day that there's some new things, new ideas coming out with the FTX-1F. And when he said that, I said to myself, oh, I wonder what that is, because the menu structure is bound to be very similar to the Yaesu FTX-1F. And I was trying to think, is it because he's going to add Bluetooth and Wi-Fi? Do you think it will include a Bluetooth module? Do you think they're going to add Wi-Fi? I think if they are, and I feel that this device has been brought out to compete with the 705, and I feel like they should do, really. Wi-Fi does open up, possibilities that you can't do wirelessly. I just grab my 705, hopefully it has some power in it. And I've always said this is one of the best radios I've ever owned because of what it does. And yeah, we've always had this thing, or a bit more power. It looks like it needs charging, which is a shame. The interesting thing about this device, though, actually, is the fact that the battery, which I could take out now and put on charge, the battery comes out of your Icom 51 and 52 handheld. How cool is that? So I will put that on charge while we're here. And it actually lasts, if you get the big one, the 307. I'm just trying to find my charger now. It's down there in my pile of items. I'll leave it on the side so I don't forget to put it on charge. So yeah, the ATU, they've already shown photographs of the ATU. They have shown photographs of it, and it basically clips onto the back of it. And they're going to charge, it's going to be a lot. It's because the radio, I think, is going to be £1,200. The ATU is going to be, I would say, at least 300-400. Then you've got this amplifier. Now, if the amplifier includes an ATU, this is the amplifier here, then, I mean, even if you look at the Zygu cheap amplifiers, they're £600. And this is Yaesu. So by the time you add all these packages together, you're talking quite big money for a shack in the box. Now, if you want to compare that to something like the Yaesu FT991A, which includes a tuner and C4FM, and yes, the FTX1 does include C4FM, by the way, you can buy them now with all the discounts, about £1,000. So you are looking at quite an investment here for people that are going to be purchasing, and they will purchase it because people, when they're older, they do tend to have more spare money. Let's face facts. Retired people have got money lying around, and if they happen to be a ham radio operator and they're thinking, well, I'm only going to be around for a few more years, and a radio comes out that they really, really want for a couple of thousand, 3,000-4,000, and they've got, they've bought a property 100 years ago and it's worth hundreds of thousands, they're not going to quibble at buying it. And that's why, some of the sellers, sell these. Like if you look at the 7760, that's a £5,000-6,000 radio, but it's actually selling quite well. So yeah, it looks like Hamvention is the 16th to the 18th of May 2025. Let me know if you feel that people will be, do you think they're going to sell like hotcakes, this new radio? The middle of the night in the USA, so I wasn't really expecting to get many people. See if I can just share it on a couple of sites that I use. Get some interest. Some people, they do stay up all night, don't they? Let's put it on my personal Facebook, which we're trying to find. And we've got M0FXB Facebook as well. Right, let's try this one. And let's find M0FXB, which has actually had, quite surprisingly, because I sort of created it for fun, the M0FXB one quite a while ago. And I'm getting about, I don't know, 30, 40 people every single day asking to join, which is, I'm honoured by that. Honoured by it. I'm trying to find M0FXB now. There's the live one there. Maybe I'm not a friend with M0FXB, lol. M0FXB. La 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 la. Let's try in the messages. There I am. Right, see if I can go into there and put it there as well. Cool, that's an old picture. Right, that's better. Just posting that. Try and get a few people join. Hi, Andy. Yeah, it's a good question about the DX10. The thing about the DX10, which I really like, it has that CW decode, and it has the sort of hybrid technology where you're mixing SDR with oh my god, I forgot the word now. Your traditional method of radio. What is it again? Heterodyne, super heterodyne, and that makes it a very solid set. So I like it a lot. Will they get rid of it? Well, they'd have to replace it first. It's a tough one. I mean, I'm not really sure why they've let the 710 become so cheap, because in the UK, and yeah, and good morning, Andy. In the UK, £850 for the Yaesu 710, that's a giveaway. Unless I'm wrong about the price, but that is a giveaway for what it does. Fantastic device. So if you imagine that the Yaesu, the 705, sorry, the 710 had VHF, UHF, there's no way it will be £850. I feel like the screen's going to have to be a bit wider, possibly, to get all this in. You know, you've got dual display on the X1F. So I feel like it's going to need to be a wider screen, but that's going to be really interesting because they're trying to keep it compact, like they have done with the 705, and it doesn't look much bigger. Trying to see if I can find a picture that shows the tuner. This one was quite good, wasn't it? You're not seeing it yet. I'm just going to see if I can find it. Yeah, these are quite good pictures. Let me see if I can bring these pictures in, because these are quite good. So we're going to go add window, click OK. Select which window. Nope. Right, there it is. Click OK. Hopefully you can see that. I'll have to faffing a bit here, but we'll get there. So if you look at these pictures here, these show quite clearly some of the modular stuff, and this is off Facebook, by the way. On DX World Post. So take a look. It is quite a wide screen, but it might be the same size as the 710. And let's click this one. like so. Look at that nice stand underneath. Right, so there's one picture. Yeah, the knobs, and it's very, the 710, this is what it felt like to use. Hi Andy, Victor Echo 3, Victor X-Ray. Good morning, Sumus, Domnow, Ross, N7, Mike Yankee, Whiskey. Good morning, very good morning. We're just having a bit of a chat here. A Hamvention, Yaesu have done a few things. They've said get ready for some new information and the field use of the FTX-1F and Optima. Optima, I feel like they're going to be using this new. I don't know if you've heard about it, but there's a new. Let me just move this over here. There's a new amplifier being talked about here, 100 watt, and it is just speculation. The FTX-1F will go inside it and give you 100 watts. So that's what it's all about. So we're just talking about that, getting some close-up looks. Give me some comments. I got a feeling this is going to be released for public sale, or at least you'll be able to purchase it on between the 16th and the 18th of May. Someone did say to me the 5th of May. It's been FCC approved, supposedly. Ham Radio Crash Course did a video, and he said that he discovered this 100 watt amplifier. Thank you very much to Ham Radio Crash Course and anyone else that's given us information. We like new gadgets, don't we? Especially like this. Hi Clayton. Yeah, they're going to be AliExpress and the China companies, the Japan companies. They're going to be queuing up making carry cages for that device. Don't worry about that. And you'll be able to 3D print them as well. I think the price dollars wise, I think you're not far off, Sumas. I don't think you're far off at all. I think £1,200 UK. I feel like the big 100 watt amplifier box is going to be £600-700 at least. I would say the ATU £300-400. The battery I think will come included. Let me know what you think. I'm just going to grab myself a coffee. Right, we have a big coffee. So yeah, sorry about that. Just had a coffee. So if you've just joined, thank you very much. And they separated the amp from the radio to separate more cash from your wallet. Yeah, I agree that ultimately they are a business and they want to make profit. Now, they could have just gone straight ahead and made a new Yaesu FT991, and they could have done it where it was virtually identical to the 710, but they included VHF, UHF. They could have gone that way, and I'm sure that radio would have sold for about £1,500, including an ATU. But they've decided, because we're thinking out loud here, but they wanted to compete with the Icom 705. Let's face fact. They wanted to come up with something like the 705. There's my 705. So sort of very advanced all mode radio with digital mode. Yeah, and it does have D-Star. Of course, Yaesu are not D-Star. And I just feel like they hadn't really fully decided where they were going with it when we saw the prototype. And I feel like they've come up because so many people, they've got all the feedback, and so many people have been saying, we'd buy it if it did 100 watts. We'd buy it if it did 100 watts. Someone has just gone, well, okay, let's give them 100 watts, but in a separate package. That's what I feel like's happening here. Let's have a look at some of these other pictures a minute. So these are off DX World. So this is obviously the radio, which is beautiful. No one's going to get away from the fact that it's a beautiful radio. It's got twin VFOs. It's dual receive. Looking at the buttons, clarifier, quick memory bank. I think that's back function. On the top, you've got your SDX button. Hopefully it'll have the new SDX module, which does work fine. I've tested it on the FTM-150. It works fine. Then you're going to have your Wires X PDN mode. You've got split mode, VFO memory to VFO, PMG. They've kept that. I mean, that's quite good that they've got all this in this set, plus all the HF bands. It must have been really hard to engineer this. And then you've got your sub dial, main dial, and DSP in there as well. If we look at the next picture that's showing just here, see if I can get it to show up a bit better. This just really just shows it in the revolving stand. I'm not seeing the tuner in that one. I was hoping to see the tuner. I'm not seeing there. Let's have a look again. Nope, no tuner in that one. Let's see if I can find the picture where they actually show the tuner. It's gonna do a bit of a Google search. See if we can find it. It's quite a nice picture. That looks like what the actual box is going to look like, doesn't it? That one there. Hi, Dave Jones. It's a very expensive CB. That's all I can say. But the thing is, CBers, and don't get me wrong, I'm a CBer. They will spend thousands of pounds and then just use it on CB. Just trying to try and find the antenna tuner. But there are pictures of it. It's got a couple of BNCs on the back. We're just Googling, as you can see. There's a video there. Oh, it's one of mine. Okay. You know me. Prolific. Let's get the volume down on it and we'll let it play. Okay. So there's the tuner. So it clips on the back. It looks like it goes behind the battery. You can see the battery is quite chunky, isn't it? That's a good image, isn't it? Let it play again. I get these pictures and then I just think, wow, everyone's got to see this. That's exactly what I think when I get them. So you got your tuner, battery, you've got your patch leads there to connect the tuner. So it's quite a lump. And this is what's making me wonder is they're going to have to accommodate where some people that buy the 100-watt amp are going to want a tuner. So that's an interesting one because are they going to just pause it there? Are they going to? It's the tuner. It's the amplifier. If you haven't seen the amplifier, I'll show it you now. Is it going to house the antenna tuner, or does the amplifier have a built-in tuner? Is it part of the amplifier that you'll buy? Let's have a look. So this is the tuner. Look, let me know what you think. This has been approved by the FCC. Yeah, I believe. And this is the box that we think the radio is going to go inside. What do you reckon? Let me know. I'm trying to find my Icom charger. So I can charge up my mind you, I can just leave it in there and use my micro USB to charge it. You can do that with the 705. You can put the battery in, which is just a ID52 battery, but it's the big one that is now standard with these. And then you can, I've got USB, I put the USB adapter in my 705. I fitted it several months back. And so I can plug that in my normal USB 2 amp supply into that. And it's doing it already. It's now charging my battery. Now I'm lucky here. I've got a mixture of Icom gear, Yaesu gear, and I like it all. The smaller tuner is probably not rated for 100 watt. I bet the amp has its own. Yeah, I agree. Because I bet you what they thought, I mean, we're just thinking out loud here, but I bet you what they thought was, okay, tuner, we'll charge £300 for that, £400. And then they thought, well, okay, everyone's asking for 100 watts. We could make a 100-watt amp. And then they went, the 100-watt amp's going to be 600, 700, 800 quid. Oh, but if we include the tuner, then they'll think they'll say they don't have to buy the tuner. And because they do want us to feel like we're getting value for our money. I don't think they want us to be unhappy. I don't think no business chooses to make their customers unhappy. Although one thing that was bad was the Icom 2730 came out with the black and white screen, yeah, and then they didn't give us any method of attaching it to the radio or even standing it on the table. That was crazy. That was just Icom. Come on, £10 a radio, add it, and then give us the attachment for the front of the radio. Such bad PR. What does it say? I learned my lesson on new radios long ago. Buy any amp you like, don't have to say Yaesu on it. Heck, you could go for one of the 60. Yeah, and I've got what's it called? I've got a budget amp here. It's very good, and it was 60 quid. And I tested it on several devices. Yeah, you're right. I'm trying to think of the model now. It's just one of these cheap ones. Tech Minds have made videos on it. Trying to see if I can see it. Can't actually see it at the moment, but it sort of looks like this. But it's it works really well. You need to chuck new firmware on it, I think, because there was a few problems with it. But yeah, of course, yeah. But people are going to want the reason they're going to like that one is because it's the way they've housed it inside this unit. I'm just wondering how the front's going to look on it. There you are. Any more comments? Make some comments. Give us your thoughts. What do you think it's worth? You know, what is this worth? QRP. You think the 705? I mean, that was a lot of money. £1,300, £1,400. What's this one worth? Why get this one over the 705? Do you think that the ATU and the battery when it's connected to the back, that the whole thing's become too big and clumsy? Do you think it's better to use your own, get an antenna, cut it to the exact size so you don't need an antenna tuner? Then it all becomes very portable. Chuck it in your car, take a battery bank, and then a length of wire, and off you go. Work the world, do some CW, get your CW key. What do you think? Let me know. What time is it in the USA? It's got to be... It's the middle of the night in the USA. So John Crook's advertising a podcast in about a day's time, and he's talking about using the FTX-1F in the field, and then the Optima version. So to me, the Optima version, see if I can find it. The actual live advert for that. Yeah. OPTIMA. Let's see if I can find the link. I did put a link to it, I'm sure. La la la. Yaesu podcast. There it is. Copy. Right. Paste. Enter. Right, there it is. So if I just bring that window in a minute. Add window, click OK. That's the one, click OK. So this is the podcast advertised by Yaesu. And if you look at the wording at the bottom left, I know you can't see it that clear. It says, Yaesu the radio show. Let's talk about the FTX-1F field and the FTX-1 Optima. So you're seeing the words field and Optima. So this is telling me that I think that they're going to pair this off with the amp and then say, now you've got the Optima package. So what's your thoughts on that? 9 a.m. Wow. Here it's 2 p.m. What time's it in? I'm trying to think. Yeah. So that's 75% of the people that watch my channel is actually in the USA. So really, if I was going to do a live, I should do it, I don't know, midnight UK time. But by then I'm fast asleep. Because I get up so early. Yeah. 2K for a complete package. Yeah. It's a lot of money. You know, like, they easily could have put this into the FTDX10 box, couldn't have they? So they've sort of gone round it in the long way, and I think they've taken feedback after announcing this device, and they've come up with, you know, this stuff. So it's interesting. It's very hard to predict. I mean, the Yaesu FTM-400, everyone loved that radio. And then they came up with the tiny FTM-300, which actually worked really well, and it got Bluetooth was included. Then they went, oh no, we're going to give you the FTM-500. And that did include Bluetooth. It's all the bells and whistles, VHF, UHF, APRS, Bluetooth, and all. And then they went, oh, hang on, no, we're going to give you the FTM-100. That's going to include the ASP module and improved SDX, improved PMG. Oh, but by the way, you're not going to have Bluetooth. For that, you have to buy the BU5 Bluetooth module. So added another 50 quid. So the price went up to £650 in the UK. I think more like 600. Plus you've still got to buy the Bluetooth module. Then let's talk FT3D. Now I really like the FT3D. The case on the FT3D was the best case ever. The audio on C4FM and the whole radio was a bit sharp. We were asking, can you please add some bass to the audio? Next thing you know, they released the FT5 case and the FT5 design and added better PMG. And the design's okay, but then there's the case, we're not completely happy with the case. We'll talk about the line on the side. The battery does feel a bit gappy on the back. So I feel like there's a new handheld on way as well at the moment. I think they're designing a new handheld, which will probably have USB-C. So Yaesu, they've been quite interesting with their releases. FT600, is it? FT150, which I've got it here. I've used it. I do like it. I do like the FTM150. I think they should have chucked in APRS myself. So yeah, morning Steve, hope you're well. I feel like the FTX-1F, that the price will come out okay. I've got a feeling it's going to be, being optimistic, it's going to be not far from the $1,000. I don't know how the tax affects things like that. In the UK, I'm thinking £1,200. We'll see. It's so hard to guess. The 710 is an absolute bargain. If you have not got a HF radio, and with the deals they're offering now and with the cashback, the 710, you will be very, very happy with that radio. Yeah, you know why I get a big coffee? It's because I just don't want to go back and forth, because the kitchen is over there. I'm in this very, very small room, which is about, 1, 2, 3, 4 meters by not even 3 meters. Keep all my gadgets in front of me where I can see them. So I use them because I find that if I can't see those gadgets, those radios, if I can't see them, I don't use them. And so I make sure I can see them all. And every day when I come into my shack, it gives me inspiration. And then I'm also getting lots of messages from people about new equipment, about old equipment. And so that inspires me every day. Every day I'm inspired to make about at least 100 videos with ideas. And I only actually make, nowadays, I tend to make about 10 at the most. And I take my time, I don't rush. But in my head, I've got 100 videos ready to be made every day, new videos. So literally, I've got videos to make until the day I die, basically. But yeah, big coffee, like Costa's coffee. The funny thing is, my father's name was Costa. My father's name was Costa, and he actually had a cafe when I was a baby, called Costa. Before Costa's coffee was around. Funny. Let's go back to this. So, is anyone that's viewing this, is anyone going to Hamvention 2025? I'd like to go, and I actually could go. And I don't think it would cost me anything, because I feel like if I went there and made videos, that those videos would easily pay for my plane ticket to get there. I mean, what part What part of the USA is Hamvention? How many hours flight from the airport? How many hours drive from the airport? Hamvention, where is that? Someone let me know. Yeah, Hi, morning to Le Metz, is it? I've seen the Lab 99 color version, VHF Future. I've seen it, yeah. Seen the photographs, seen the videos. It looks okay. Fubar Snafu. Uh, yeah, 710. Right, so the 710 is not all mode. The one that's going to be released is the FTX-1F. So let's see if I can show you that. Get some of these pictures out of the way. There it is there. That's the FTX-1F. Very similar to the 710, but this one's only 10 watts, or maybe 20, but let's say it's 10, right? The 710 is HF 6 meters only. Can't remember if it's got 4 meters. Probably has. It's a beautiful set. Very good value at what they're selling. M17. I love the idea behind M17. I love the passion. But the problem is that DMR has become so cheap because programming a digital radio, you need to have talk groups. Otherwise, you're not going to have no one to talk to because people are not going to be in range of each other. Simplex. When I mean that, I mean like radio to radio. They're not going to. There's not going to be enough people. So therefore, to use M17, you have to either use a hotspot, a repeater, and you have to join talk groups. Well, by the time you've done all that infrastructure, now, because DMR's been around for several years, we can go to talk group 91 and it's busy and we're going to have lots of people to talk to. The problem with M17, which is a system that is free and a system that you can change, yeah? Who are you going to talk to? Yeah, where's the infrastructure? You haven't got Brandmeister, you haven't got Phoenix, you haven't got TGIF. Yeah, so this is the main problem. So I love the passion behind M17, but it's been several years now, and really we're just seeing people tinkering with their passion rather than providing, in my opinion, something that's going to be widely used. And we need it to be widely used so that we got lots of people to talk to. So yeah, no. If I went to any of the ventions, yeah, any ham radio show, it wouldn't cost me a penny. Just everything would be paid for by the videos that I make. It's just that I've got 6 kids, 2 grandkids. I'm quite a central person in my family here. I fix the cars, I do the shopping, I do the cooking, and I've got such a lovely family around me that keeps me here. But if I didn't have that to time me, I definitely would travel. I've been invited to Japan, America. I've been invited around the world with my channel stuff. Yeah, I'm just a bit of a homeboy at the moment. Yeah, it is a good looking radio. Cheers, Zen. Nice to meet you, Fubar. Anyone else got any questions before? This is a prelude to the podcast by John Crook. What's John Crook going to be talking about? What's he going to tell us? What's the software going to be like for programming this radio? Because I bet you they've had to work very hard to program a radio that's a shack in the box. ADMS probably 20, is it? Just to build this thing and make it work. I mean, without any bugs. Don't forget, this isn't like Zygu where they release a radio and then there's lots of bugs and we tell them, and over years, I mean, Yaesu will have bugs, but there won't be many. They make sure that by the time it gets to market, it's pretty good, yeah. And then, yeah, there'll be a couple of firmware updates and then they'll sort of pause. So that's definitely an interesting one. Yeah, the 991 is a shack in the box. It's actually really good. I've got one in front of me. Yeah. It's a small screen, but it does work really well. The tuner's good. It's a nice radio, and when you go on C4FM, it's really nice. So it will be a shame if they discontinued it, because it's such a good set, solid and beautiful. Every year I want to go to the shows. Every year, I just never do. If I was going to go to a show, I need one that's near London. Are there any shows near London? Because that wouldn't be a big problem, because I can get onto a train to Piccadilly train station in about 2 hours, and then I could go to a show. I do that, and I enjoy it, and I meet so many of my friends. I probably get about 200 people messaging me every day, so I've made loads and loads of friends just tinkering with my radios. What time is it? So I think I'm going to round it up now, and I just want to say to Yaesu, thank you. John Crook, I'm looking forward to the podcast. We are spoilt for choice now. I think it's a fantastic time for the hobby. Whether you like digital HF, real radio, apps. I feel like there's a lot of people out there that are loving it. I have learned that having too many radios, having lots of radios, has massively enhanced my hobby. And if you're sat in your shack and you've got a HF radio and a dual band mobile radio and a HT, you're going to get bored. You get a lot of gear, only buy what you can afford, learn how to use it, watch lots of videos. If you can't be bothered to read the manual, fine. I can't be bothered. And then just enjoy your hobby. So thank you, 7-3, and thanks for watching. Thought I'd quickly do that. I'm going to go off and get myself some lunch. Yeah, I've been invited to the German one. That's quite close. I do fancy Hamfest this year. I definitely do. 7-3, all the best. Bye for now.